Hey, it's Troy again, here with yet another pen video. I didn't think I'd need to do one this early, but, I kind of did, because today was a big pen mail day, and I enjoy opening up boxes. I mean, our postman came, and he had a bunch of boxes today of packages for me and my wife, and mostly for me. And today I'm looking at, I think I got 9 pens between Saturday and today. So not a bad pen mail or pen haul day. Looking it over, one of the things I wanted to show you is, you remember when I told you that if you watch my video a little while back about pens can, just for fun, one of these deals here I was showing you, I ordered 3 of these things and they just showed up. Now, one of my viewers had said that he had ordered one of these same pens and it was listed differently. There was no name on these whatsoever when I was ordering them, or at least the first one, and then the subsequent 3 afterwards, and the price had actually gone down a little bit for each of the 3. Well, he said that when he purchased it, these were listed as a Jinhao, even though there's no Jinhao name on it. So $3 a piece. And like I said, it was just for fun because it's a beautiful pen. So those are going to be distributed amongst my family who all liked mine and requested them. One of the things I wanted to talk about are pocket pens. Now, I'm not a real big lover of pocket pens. As a matter of fact, I didn't know how small a couple of them would be that I had bought a little while ago. And I had gotten these 2 on Mass Drop. These are Ohto, O-H-T-O pens. And these had been in my collection, one of which was sitting out for daily use. I'll tell you about that here in a second, because I won't do that again. And I just got this one. This is probably recognizable to a lot of folks. Now I'll turn it around so you can read it. Kaweco Sport. This was on my wish list for a while. I've seen these reviewed. I've seen people who are collectors who really like them. So for a pocket pen, $20 even on Amazon. This was shipped fairly quickly. Got it shipped from Germany. And look how tiny this thing is. It's all plastic. It's not all that uncomfortable to hold once you post it. There's no way I could write with it when it was just that short little stub. A little difficult to write with. And I'll show you a little writing sample here in a few minutes of what this writes with. Because it's a miniature pen, you see how when you put the cap on, most of the way goes into the cap. And just like these are the Ohtos. This is an Ohto Rook. It's pretty much the same way. It's a very small pen. Here's my hand. My fingers, you see, it's less than my ring finger, but just a tad bit longer than my pinky. It's the same way. Once you post it, it doesn't write so bad. It almost feels like a normal size pen, and it's fairly comfortable, and it's a little slender. You get this little band down here that's a little difficult to negotiate, but it writes okay. And I got a writing sample from it, but the Ohto. I got this in this Ohto, and now Ohto Tache, I've heard it pronounced both ways, is kind of the exact same thing, only it's blue and silver instead of the orange and silver there, and it actually holds fairly comfortably. This particular pen here, I had left out on my refrigerator. On my fridge we have a shopping list or a notepad that's there that's magneted to the refrigerator, and there's a little pen slot. Well, right now I went back to a ballpoint pen there because this particular pen, you can maybe be able to see where that nib is bent still just a little bit. But we had it up there for daily writing. Somebody within my family had bent that little nib, failed to say anything about it. And I went to go use it one day. I was like, what the heck? Was not happy whatsoever. I said, okay, that ends that experiment. So I took it and I fixed the nib as best I could. And it still writes a little rough right now, though. Oddly enough, when it was bent like it actually wrote better than it does right now. So if I really want it to work, I'll have to work on it. Now, I got these 2 on Mass Drop. 2 for $20, and I've seen these again pop up on Mass Drop. So just within the past several months, this offer has been up a couple of times, and you get to pick different models of Ohto. So 2 for $20. This Kaweco, 1 for $20 is what I picked up on Amazon, which actually was a decent price from what I've seen for this. So let me grab my little handy dandy book and let me give you a really quick view as to how they write. The thing is with these particular pens, like this one here for the Ohto Rook, I wrote that back in, let's see, May the 13th of this year, so it was a couple of months ago. The thing is with the Ohtos and with the Kaweco, look, they're small. They're meant to be able to go into your pocket or your purse. They're small on purpose. Well, that means you're not going to be able to get a converter. You're going to have to use a small international standard cartridge only. So you're not going to be able to do that. A full-length cartridge, so your ink supply is going to be a little less, and you're definitely not going to be able to put in any kind of a converter for that. So flipping over here to my writing sample that I did here with that particular Kaweco, I've got it way back here. Good grief, I didn't know I had so many things I've been writing with here lately. Here we go. 7/1. Today's the 3rd as I'm recording it, so just 2 days ago I got this particular pen. And this was a supplied cartridge that it came with on that Kaweco Sport. So, I mean, it writes fairly smoothly. A lot of collectors like it. I don't know why. It's an okay pen. I've heard a lot of good reviews. People speak highly of it. For me, it's kind of overrated. It's not uncomfortable to use, not uncomfortable to write with. Maybe it's just I'm not much into pocket pens, quite honestly. You know, it's meant to be able to, like, what I like about the Ohto Rook is if you're going to make that into a pocket pen, first of all, it's only a $10 pen. If it gets knocked around and gets scratched, no big deal. But they're convenient to throw in your pocket. So I've got 3 pocket pens, are the only ones that I own. I don't know as though I'll buy any more. They'd have to be really something impressive or have to hear something spectacular about them for me to invest in anymore. But you know, like the Kaweco is okay. I mean, it's just okay. It's not fantastic. The Ohtos, okay. Now, if I had to take my choice of Kaweco versus the Ohto, maybe the Kaweco just a little bit because it wrote a little more smoothly than that, and it's a little broader to write with. So let's see, what else in pen mail today? Fountain Pen Revolution. Let's talk about them. Fountain Pen Revolution is a company operated out of Texas, is my understanding, unless that's where their warehouse is. But I got 2 pens today that I had ordered. They were having a sale on their pens at Fountain Pen Revolution. And matter of fact, here is their little card, their little thank you card in their website. I'll actually throw that link down into the comments or to the description of the video, and I'll throw it up on the screen again for you. But I got that little thank you card in there. I feel so special and thanked. Here's the deal. I've been checking out their website. I've heard about them. The whole idea was to be able to bring halfway decent quality fountain pens to the market, mostly or probably from India, and for a decent pen at a decent price. Both of these are piston fillers, and they had a sale where you buy this one and you can get this one free. And of course you could pick different nibs and you could pick your colors and all. Well, Father's Day was last month. They had a pretty good Father's Day sale going on, and I was really interested in picking some up. The downside is pens like this, the only choice they were going to give you was fine nibs, and I did not order from them on that sale just because they only had fine. You could not pick anything else. They were going to give you a fine nib, and I didn't want a fine nib. I wanted medium nibs, which is what I ordered. This was $17, and you get this free. And I think postage was $3. So for $20, I got these 2 particular pens. This one here is the Indus, as I recall, INDUS. It's a, like I said, a medium nib, and I picked their, and that's a twist, I picked their demonstrator style model, and I put some blue ink in there. Let me look to see what blue ink I put in there. I put in some Diamine Blue Velvet into this one. And into the red one, and I put in, it's another twist. Into this one I put some ink that I had from Birmingham Pens. I talked about them. So this particular ink right here, Duquesne Incline Station Red. Duquesne talks about basically a train. So an incline station red. So I tried that red ink. I tried all the other inks of theirs that I've got. So I've got these 2. And actually, this one here is more expensive than this one retail. and this one actually writes better than this one. They're both solid pens. I couldn't argue with that. I mean, I got this one El Fribo when I purchased this one. I was going to order from them eventually anyway, and I saw the right sale at the right time, and I went ahead and did it. So, but the Indus is actually a fairly smooth writing pen. I liked it. I liked how it laid down the ink. This particular one here, little less quality, you can tell when you're using them, but both piston fillers, 2 piston filling pens for $20 delivered. That's not too bad. I'll show you right here. The Guru is right here, and that's what that red ink comes out looking like from Birmingham Pens. And then the Diamine Blue Velvet looks like this. That was a fingerprint because I had ink all over my fingers earlier today. Nowhere near as much, a lot more than I've got now. I mean, by the time I was done filling all these pens that I got, it looked like blueberries were all over my fingers because there are a lot of purple, a lot of blue. And actually it is blueberry season here. We've got blueberries that were freshly picked just a couple days ago in the house, and that's what it looked like all over my fingers. I looked like I had blueberry. But that blue velvet actually turned out fairly nice. I can't complain. And that Fountain Pen Revolution Indus wrote fairly well, whereas the red one was the Guru. All right, what else came in? A regular old Jinhao 450. The only reason I got a 450 is because I gave one to my son to help kick off his fountain pen collection. He turns 8 in about 11 days, so you know, his fountain pen collection is growing, and I just gave him one of these to get him started, so I just ordered a replacement. But along the same Jinhao idea, you know, as much as I mention it, a lot of people knock Jinhao. Sometimes they've got some really beautiful pens that write very nicely. This is a good example. This is their 1200. Jinhao 1200. It's all gold tone with a medium nib on it, and you can see it's got a dragon with little, you know, red dragon eyes in it. Nice, you know, solid gold tone nib, black section. That section, you know, curves down. It's very comfortable to hold. What I will say about this pen, this cap is very weighty. It is heavy. Just the cap alone is heavy. So when you go to post it, it's very back weighted, and it is probably too uncomfortable or too heavy to do that. Although it posts very well, you know, not a problem. But you can get by probably. I got fairly big paws, but this still fits very comfortable in the hand. For a Jinhao 1200, I didn't pay a whole lot of money for it. I think $6. I'd have to look it up, but it definitely wasn't a tremendous amount of money. I just thought the pen looked wicked cool, as we would have said where I grew up. Wicked awesome. So I went ahead and bought it, and that showed up today. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, that's right. I've been saying for a while, Watermans. Watermans are one of my favorite brands. And a Waterman showed up today. That's the little box it came with. And you know, one of the downsides when you buy a new Waterman is they never come with a converter anymore for some stupid reason. Fortunately for me, I found a great deal on Waterman converters because I had some pens that didn't have them. So I ordered what I thought was one Waterman converter because actually the price that I saw was what I was looking at for one Waterman converter everywhere, and it was a pack of 10. Woohoo! So I got a pack of 10. But this is a Waterman Hemisphere. You know what I'm going to do? I didn't plan on doing this, but let me go ahead and reach back here into my pen drawer, and I'm going to pull out a couple of Watermans for comparison. I got a couple more still in there, and actually I got one more on the way. But this is the Hemisphere. You know, a nice little traditional smaller style nib, black section, gold trim. I like the blue. I just like blue quite a bit for my pens. This is the Waterman Executive from like the 1970s. It's got that blue lapis look. It's got about the same size or a similar size nib. put these up side by side, but they're a little different. And one's definitely a lot, is longer than the other. They both are slender. The Waterman Executive is a little skinnier than is this one. So let me put the cap back on that one. Set it down. Actually, it would help if I put the right cap on the right pen, wouldn't it? So I'm going to put the Executive down, and this one is the Waterman Carène. Yeah, you see a pattern going on here with my colors? The Waterman Carène is actually one of my favorite Waterman pens. Actually, it's one of my favorite pens, period. It's my top 2 pens in my collection. I just got a thing for Waterman pens. Love them. This Waterman Carène writes butter smooth. Love it. Well, this Waterman Hemisphere surprised me. It writes almost as smooth as my Carène, and that's saying something. This particular Hemisphere, I didn't know if it was going to be good, bad, and different, because I'd never used a Hemisphere before, but I just know the brand, because every Waterman pen I've ever touched I have loved. So let me show you. Let's see. The Waterman Hemisphere. Medium nib, lays down a lot of ink, and I put in it a nice ink. I can't complain. The Diatramentis Atlantic Blue. It's a little darker. I've got a Caribbean blue. I've got a Mediterranean blue, both of which are a lot lighter. This, and I don't know if it's because it's the Waterman, because look, I'm using those ink files for samples on a lot of these. So, this particular ink looked darker than it did in that file. But that's how I get a lot of different color variations. For instance, at Jinhao 1200, I put that Diatramentis Alexander Hamilton. I cringed when I bought that one. I am not a fan of Alexander Hamilton, the individual from American history. Matter of fact, I did a study on him. He's one of probably my least favorite American founding father. And what I'll try to do is I'll put a link down below as well about a podcast that I had done in a particular episode on Alexander Hamilton. The man was a scoundrel, in my opinion. And also, I told you that Jinhao X450 that I ordered, that's what a J. Herbin Eclat de Saphir ink would look like. So, just to give you an idea when you're looking at ink samples. But this Waterman wrote extremely buttery smooth. So just a few ideas for you to be able to add to your collection. I'm not the kind of guy who's going to sit there and give you length dimensions, and I'm going to get out calipers and tell you how wide the pen is, and I'm not going to put it on my little postal scale and tell you how many grams that they weigh. That's just not the kind of guy that I am. The one thing I can tell you is some advice. If you get a 1200, those little ink sample vials, this will not fill from one of those little ink sample vials. I had to literally either change to go into bottle, or no, I wanted to try that ink. So I pulled out the cartridge. I put the cartridge down inside that sample vial. Got a lot of purple on my hands. But still, the pen wrote very well. I can't complain, even if it was Alexander Hamilton ink. So, hey, that's what I got today. Big mail day for me. So fountain pen revolution, Kaweco. Talked a little bit about pocket pens. Just got a replacement Jinhao, another Waterman, and just a few minutes before recording this video, I ordered another Waterman that'll be on. I think Waterman Expert 2 will be on its way. So my Waterman family is growing, and I'll keep you abreast of those and tell you how those write. And that's about it. All for me to share today. Ciao.